What's up guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be talking about operations. In mathematical terms, they refer to the actions that are able to change the number, which is usually done by signs and numbers. In GCSE, the four main terms you need to know are addition, which is just combining two numbers together, subtraction, which is to find the difference between two numbers, multiplication, which is just adding the same number for a certain amount of times, and division, to split a number into equal parts with the same value. The main point of the video today is about how to apply them in calculations using the fastest method. So let's start with addition and subtraction. What we will be doing, if you can't be done in your head, is using the column method. This is done by placing the numbers vertically with digits lining up with each other. We then add or subtract the numbers to get the value of the digit, then move on. Some easy examples are like these, where 7 plus 2 equals to 9 and 6 plus 2 equals to 8. Giving you 89 as the total. For subtraction, 7 minus 2 equals 5 and 6 minus 2 equals 4, which gives you 45 as the difference. But it is not always going to be that easy. In some cases, the digits of the total after adding up can be over 10. Take 67 plus 24 as an example. 7 plus 4 equals 11. We can easily represent the 1 on the units, but for the other one, we will leave it for the next digit. By this, we mean to add an extra 1 for the next digit. In this case, instead of doing only 6 plus 2, we will do 6 plus 2 plus 1 to reflect the extra 1 from the units place, which will give us an answer of 91. For subtraction, if the lower digit is smaller than the upper digit, we have to do some work on it. Take 67 minus 28 as an example. 7 minus 8 equals minus 1, which is correct, but we don't want that. Therefore, we will take away 1 from the digit next to it. As a result, we'll end up with 17 minus 8, which will equal to 9. When we move on to the next digit, however, we will be subtracting an extra 1 to compromise for the unit digits. So we will do 5 minus 2 instead of 6, which will give us 3 and a difference of 39. Now we can move on to multiplication. Doing this stuff can be dead, especially with larger numbers, so we will take the box method. Use the example here. We draw a grid like this and place a multiplying sign on the top left corner. Then we break down the numbers down. Knowing 23 equals 20 plus 3, we place 20 and 3 individually in the boxes next to the sign. Doing the same with 68, which breaks down to 60 and 8. We put them under the sign individually. Afterwards, we multiply the numbers up. The zeros can be ignored when calculating, so it's just single digit multiplication, making it easier to deal with. And when we get the products, we add them up so we get a final product of 1564. Afterwards, division. The only way to do this clearly. Take another example. We will place the numbers like this. The dividend, the number being divided at the right, and the divisor, the number dividing at the left. Afterwards, we will take the first few digits, in this case 71, and figure out how many of the divisors it can go in. Right now, 3 23s can go into 71, so we will put a 3 on the top and the product of 3 times 23, which is 69, below. Then we subtract 69 from 71, which will leave us a 2. After this, we pull the next digit down, giving us a 23, where we repeat the same process as said above. At the end, luckily, we will end up with nothing and a 1 above, giving us 31 as the quotient, which is also known as the answer, and 0 as the remainder. Next up, we'll have a look at fractions. But before this channel has a goal to carry your GCSEs to grade 9 in the most efficient way possible. So please give us a subscribe for free. So for adding and subtracting them, it's the same way. However, we have to make sure that the denominator of the fraction has to be the same. And obviously, we can do so by multiplying the whole fraction until the denominator is the same. Take this as an example. 5 and 7 are clearly not the same, so we will find the LCM of it. More strategies on LCM can be found on this video. But right now, the answer will be 35. Afterwards, we will multiply the denominator of the fraction until it becomes 35, where 3 over 5 will multiply by 7 to become 21 over 35, and 2 over 7 will multiply by 5 to become 10 over 35. Do remember to multiply the numerator with the same value, and we can move back to adding up, which will give us a 31 out of 35. Afterwards, on multiplying, we do the exact same thing to give us the answer. However, it is very recommended to simplify the answer, to make the fraction look as simple as possible while keeping its value. Take this as an example. Multiply the numerators and denominators separately, which will give us 12 over 84. Afterwards, try find a common multiple between the numerator and the denominator. In this case, it can be 12, where you divide both numbers by it to give a simplified answer, 1 over 7. Or we can do the simplifying before multiplying. What you do is try find common multiples from the numerators and the denominators before you even multiply it. In this case, 4 and 14 can be simplified into 2 and 7. 3 and 6 can be simplified into 1 and 2, and the 2's can cancel out to become 1, which is irrelevant in multiplication, giving us the final same answer. Division is almost the same as multiplication, but we do an extra step before it. We need to flip the fraction that has division sign, meaning to change the numerator into the denominator and the denominator into the numerator. For example, in this case, 14 out of 45 has a division sign. Therefore, we will swap the fraction into 45 out of 14 and change the sign into a multiplication sign. The logic behind this will be explained in another video, but afterwards we just do our multiplying, which will give us an answer of 502. Finally, for decimals, you basically take every method with integers, but with an extra step. For adding and subtracting, what you want to do is to make sure every number has the same amount of units, with 0 included, and you can add it behind it. For example, in this case, you will want to make 2.5 into 2.50 so that it doesn't get confusing when calculating it. Next, for multiplication, you want to just ignore the decimal points and do the calculations. But before that, you want to count the total number of units that are on the right side of the decimal point. And when you get the results, you move the decimal point to the left based on the total units of the right at the start. For example, 7.4 times 2.1 can be done easier if you just do 74 times 21, which will give you 1554. However, there are 2 units on the right side of the decimal point. So we will move the decimal point 2 numbers to the left for 1554, giving us 15.54 as the answer. For division, you also do long division, but you multiply both numbers by 10, repeating it until both numbers are integers before you calculate it. For example, 8.1 needs to be multiplied by 10 to get an integer, where 1.35 needs 100. Both numbers need to be multiplied by the same number, thus we will get 810 and 135. Afterwards, we do 810 divided by 135, which will give us a 6, which is the answer. Before we end the video, just a quick look at positives and negatives. We have to remember that all numbers are stuck with a sign, an operation. For some cases, such as the numbers at the start may not be showing a sign. In this case, it basically has a positive sign, meaning it will be a plus with that number when an operation happens. For multiplication and division, you just have to remember these 3 rules. 2 negatives will make a positive number. 2 positives will also make a positive number. But 1 positive and a negative will make a negative number. It also works with addition or subtraction, where if you subtract a negative number, it is technically adding a number as there are 2 negatives in there. Just make sure you don't get that mixed up and everything should be fine. So that's it for this video. If you want more content, then have a look at this one, but remember to also subscribe to us and we will see you on the next one.